Imagine your life as if you're not afraid of anyone. I find myself at a retreat center in the beautiful Simi Valley outside of LA. Can intense concentration practices open my senses to hear and see the world in new ways? I can't help but wonder who I will become after these 7 days in silence.
We all come to practice. I know I came to practice, and I think most of us do in some way, because in some way we want to change. We want to live life more fully. We want to be free and open and loving. We want to be compassionate. We want to be free from all kinds of things, from fear, anxiety, depression, despair, anger, addiction, self-doubt.
Imagine if meditation could melt away your self-doubts and fears, bringing calm, peace, and room for more joy and love. I've dabbled with many variations for a long time, but it doesn't seem to work like that for me. Maybe this more intense version, 7 days in a row, will build the momentum to open my senses beyond what I can imagine.
And of course, part of the paradox of our practices is that we achieve that change precisely by letting go of all desire for change, and by opening to the experience of things just as they are. It's precisely the opening and the acceptance and the willingness to be with what arises that brings the transformation. The Baal Shem Tov has a famous parable, Hasidic parables, where he talks about a palace, and that there's a king in the palace, and that there are walls of the palace, and there are doorways of the palace, and you're trying to get into the palace. It's either you can't get past the walls, or when you get to a gate, there's a bunch of money at the gate. Only a very few are not so concerned with the money or get so trapped by the walls that they get in through the gate, and they get to the king. And of course, who's the king? The king's God, right? And then he says, but what you see once you get to the king is that the whole palace was an illusion. The illusion is that we thought the walls were something other than God. The divine was already present. The problem was just in how we were relating to the walls. And all we needed to do to be in contact with this majesty was to shift our relationship to that which was in front of us.
This story sets the intention and the possibilities of what might happen here. The barriers between me and deeper connections and love might disappear.
We glimpse this sweetness and fullness. We know it's sort of waiting for us there somehow. We have these peak moments in all kinds of ways, a moment of a profound love, an encounter with death, birth, in nature. There's all these wonderful ways which open us up to these amazing experiences, and we feel it for a moment. But then we shut down again. Then we close off again. And then rather than being aware and present, we are dead and blocked and anxious. We're sad and judging and tense. We're closed.
My peak experiences have come through something physical: dance, music, traveling, falling in love. It's never been achieved simply sitting in some kind of meditation pose with my eyes closed. I usually don't get past the boredom.
Part of what you'll experience on retreat, if you've been on retreat, you know this will happen. If you haven't been on retreat, I'm going to suggest it will happen to you, and you'll see what will happen, is that the mundane aspects of your experience will take on a kind of vividness and power and realness they don't normally have. It's a natural part of what happens as you start to pay attention. And deeper than even awakening to the vividness of our external experience, which is crucial, we start to awaken to our own genuine nature. And in doing so, we awaken to a deep love, both for ourselves, for our own experience, and for everybody else. An experience both of loving and of being loved.
It all sounds wonderful, and Rev James also said this is all about our own experience. There's no dogma here. We're meant to find these things out for ourselves. I often live in my head, and this isn't the type of knowing I can think my way into. Daily meditation has never taken me to that place. Could this retreat be the key to unlocking the way I see the world around me? Or at least make me feel that something is happening?